Hey, what's up everybody? This is Damron with Trash Ass Gamers bringing you an NHL 19 achievement guide for Champion, which is to win the Stanley Cup in Be a Pro mode, which is obviously one of the many modes in NHL 19. So let's get right to it. You're going to go into Be a Pro mode and I'm going to show you the fastest way to simply get this achievement. You really can't do it any quicker than this. And first off, you're basically just going to start your Be a Pro mode, create your player, and you're going to have kind of a preseason before you get drafted by an NHL team. Just go ahead and sim all the way through that until you get to the regular season in which you're part of an NHL team. Now we're going to go into the Be a Pro settings. We're going to set the difficulty to rookie. We're going to put the period length to 3 minutes. We're going to turn our injuries off because in our sim period we don't want those injuries to slow down the simulation. We just want to be able to kind of blast through that, and we certainly don't want our player to get injured in the simulation either. And then the last thing that we want to do is turn auto save off. Also the simming penalty, we want to turn that off as well. So make sure all those are your settings. And then again, also be sure you turn the auto save off. That's pretty critical, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. So then after you do that, what we're going to do is we're essentially going to simulate almost the entire regular season. And when you're doing that simulation, just go down to your calendar and you're going to go all the way to the very bottom of the calendar and select the last game and select to simulate up to this point. Now, don't just let it go, because the critical part here is that you need to make the playoffs. So if you don't make the playoffs, obviously you're not going to win the Stanley Cup. So what you want to do is kind of keep an eye on it. Make sure your team is still around the 500 or so range, having about the same wins and the same losses. So again, if you don't have your injuries off, which I didn't prior to that, you see someone came off the injury list. So if you don't turn the injuries off, you're going to keep getting those notifications. So be sure you turn the injuries off. That way when we simulate going forward, we're not going to have to worry about that. So we're essentially going to simulate the entire regular season almost up until just about the end, almost about till about 10 games left. And again, you have your autosave off, so if you go through this simulation period and you're very far off of being able to make the playoffs, then you can just exit out and come back into the game to kind of see where you stand at that point. So you're going to see here, I stopped the simulation near the end. I'm 35, 28, and 10. I'm down here, I'm out of the playoffs, but I'm only actually 1 point. See, Florida Panthers have 81. With the Buffalo Sabres, we have 80. So I'm only 1 point off of being able to make the playoffs. So what I'm going to do at this point is essentially play a few games. And then what I did here, you see I've actually played a few of those games, and now I have an X beside Buffalo Sabres, which means I'm locked in to make the playoffs. So now I can simulate the rest of the games, which is only 3. So I believe I played, 4 games or so and locked my position as I won all of those because it's rookie difficulty, 3 minute periods, so you're really just only playing a few games, and now you can make the playoffs. And then once you make the playoffs, we're also going to utilize the simulation because you have to win 4 games of a series to advance to the next round. So we can go into the calendar portion. So now we're in the first round of the playoffs, and we know we can simulate the first 3 games of the series. But before we do that, let's go ahead and save our file. So we're going to create a new file or overwrite, whichever we want to do. But now we've got a new save file. So now when we come back, we can start from here. If any errors happen, we can reload that save. So we're going to go into our calendar and we can select the first 3 games, and we're going to simulate past 1-1. So that means I can still simulate 2 more games. And if I, here I go, a 1-1. So now I'm 3-2. I can definitely simulate another game to see if I make it. And boom, I do. So now I'm 4-2, and I can advance to the next round of the playoffs. Now it's up to you. You can save every time you finish a round, if you want to. But once you finish a round, it's okay. Sim to next season is the next round. Don't, think that you're going to simulate all the way through the playoffs. You're not. You're going to sim to next season, and then this is going to happen. The round is complete, and you can either stop your simulation there. But if you do click OK and risk it, like I did, it's going to simulate the entire next round of the playoffs. So that's actually what I did. So you see here, next NHL playoff round is complete. Would you like to continue simulating or stop? So now I've stopped it, and you can see I'm in the finals. So now that I'm in the NHL finals, same method. I simulate up to the point where I have 3 wins using that same method. But let's be honest, guys. You got to play the last game. Come on, you have to play the last game because there's no better way to score than an overtime goal to win the playoff Stanley Cup final.
The Stanley Cup winning goal in overtime! A fitting tribute to a wonderful season. Training camp in September was a...
So there you go, guys. It doesn't get much quicker than that. I hope you found this helpful. This is the fastest way to get the champion achievement in NHL 19. If you like our guides, feel free to like and subscribe. Check out our NHL playlist here on the bottom left, and we'll see you next time.